Today we're talking about your 24-hour circadian rhythm. It's number one on my list that we went over on Friday about the 12 things you can do to have better sleep and radically change your life. Okay, check this out. Number one, stick to a sleep schedule. It is the thing that can, really change everything. The thing is that your body is on a 24-hour sleep-wake cycle called our circadian rhythm, right? So it's not just just the sleeping, it's also the waking. So if you're on a 24-hour cycle, right? And we'll look at it in this graph here in a second, but if you're on a 24-hour cycle, if you wake up earlier, you're cutting off the end of your sleep, and if you go to bed later, but get up at the same time, you're cutting off the beginning of your sleep, right? I didn't really know that. That disruption to your sleep, right? That you're not going to bed and waking up at the same time, really kind of gives you fatigue, mental and physical fatigue on your body, right? Because your body wants to be on that 24-hour cycle. So staying on a sleep schedule can improve overall health and well-being just by doing that, man. So a lot of people have an alarm to wake them up in the morning, but they might not have an alarm to put them to bed at night. I would say 99% of us don't, right? But consider that. Consider you have one to wake you up in the morning, mostly probably because it's like time to go to work or whatever, right? And you just don't want to be late. But if we go from a place of self-care, dude, I have to remind myself all the time. So don't sweat it. That's everybody. Reminding themselves to take good care of themselves. That's everybody needs that reminding. Sleep is self-care. Then it makes sense, right? You're telling yourself to go to bed at a certain time and wake up at a certain time so that you can get the most out of that sleep, that 8 hours of sleep, right? So what's the difference between REM sleep and NREM sleep, right? REM sleep, rapid eye movement. That's what the REM stands for. NREM sleep, non-rapid eye movement. That's what the N stands for, right? So REM sleep, well, first of all, it's super intense brain activity. So when you look at the brain waves, and you can see them here in this graph, when you look at the brain waves there from when you're awake to when you're in REM sleep, they almost look exactly the same. I mean, that is it, right? Like curiously clean chaos. You know, that there's, I mean, it's a perfect, it should be my mascot. You know, curious. We're curious about sleep. There's so much unknown still about it. Clean, it's perfect. It works for us if we work with how it's designed, right? Sleep really is very empowering. It is clean, it is perfect, right? And then chaos. When you look at those brain waves, they're chaotic and busy, and some of your busiest brain waves are in your REM sleep. Okay, you can experience about 3 to 5 periods of REM sleep each night, and each period lasts about 10 minutes. Except for that last one. That last one lasts about an hour. Now your REM sleep is the one that you use for memory and learning. Memory and learning. And I'm gonna get to this again when you hop into alcohol, but I learned that it takes 3 sleeps for you to really get information. Like if you were studying for a test or something, right? It takes 3 sleeps for that information to keep refining itself and keep refining itself and keep refining itself. So mastery would happen if you gave yourself 3 sleeps. So I've been using that recently as I memorize lines for stuff. You know, it's pilot season, we're busy right now. So I'm like, as soon as I get those sides now, I look at them the first day. So they can be in me as many days as possible to help with my memory, right? And then NREM sleep. So you've got REM sleep, which is for creativity and memorizing things and learning and just great, right? That's REM sleep. That's when you're dreaming too, right? And then NREM sleep, the non-rapid eye movement, that's so crucial because NREM sleep is the sleep that helps you heal yourself, right? It's great to restore, heal, and revive your physical body. NREM sleep. NREM sleep can help us physically heal, recover from illness, deal with stress, and solve problems, right? Like, wow, 24-hour circadian rhythm, right? I never really understood what that meant, but it's a rhythm that's happening all night long. You're going through this cycle all night, right? And this is gonna help you when you look at this graph know what I meant when I said if you cut off the beginning or the end of your sleep, you're really disturbing what your body is doing to yourself, right? What it does each night to restore your body and take care of yourself. But the first graph that you see is the body temperature, right? I just think that is so interesting, that your body temperature, changes depending on your circadian rhythm, right? In the middle of the day, it's pretty low. Then at 8 o'clock at night, when you're starting, to feel like you want to go to sleep, and probably your melatonin is starting to kick in, right? The sun is down, the moon is up, it's getting darker, you're getting sleeper, the melatonin is rising, and then your body temperature just goes back down again, really low, between 12 and 4 a.m., and then rises again with that hour of REM sleep. Fascinating. This is consistent. Every day your body does that. What? I mean, you're going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cycles in the middle of the night. So just think, and we're going to talk about caffeine and light and eating and all of that over the next couple of weeks. But just think of if you had to wake up 2 or 3 times in the night because you drank a lot. Like, you're just affecting all of those cycles, right? And let's say the last one, right? Let's say one day I get a shoot and I usually get up, which is not the case, I actually usually get up at about 5:30, but let's say I usually get up at 5:30, but my call is 5 a.m. and I need to leave here by 3:30. So look at that graph, right? You just go back one. I'd be missing an hour and a half of sleep, so you go back an hour and a half. I am going to be missing all of that really valuable REM sleep, right? It just gets knocked off. You can't get it back, right? So that whole adage of, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Well, guess what? Poorer quality sleep, you'll live less. You're shorting your life expectancy faux show, because you can't make that up. You see how you cut it off? How could you possibly make that up on the weekend, right? So getting in a regular sleep schedule and going with your circadian rhythm it's just so empowering. You're working with your body so that it can give you its best too. So that's number 1, right? Number 1, which is get on a sleep schedule. Also, if you look in your phone, there's usually an app for sleep. I think even just on an iPhone, I don't know if they're on Androids, but on an iPhone, there's even a sleep section where you can set it and it will tell you when to wake up and when to go to bed. It'll tell you how much sleep you've had and you can start to track it, right? If I'm getting between 7 and 9 hours, or if I'm getting less than 6 hours, and how did that week go if I analyze it, right? So step 1, create a sleep schedule.